Playday number 2, our first match of the second Playday here in the second season of the Banshee Cup. Team Dynouh against Team Hlopaka. So, when we're looking at the two teams here, Dynouh's team has so far not won a map. They lost on the first Playday without taking one. And Team Hlopaka, on the other hand, they won their series. So we're still in the process of figuring out the power levels between the teams, but obviously the second Playday is already going to get us a little bit farther than that. Now, as I said in the past, if you want to have live updates on standings, on results, and other things, you can join the Discord. The link is in the description of the video if you're currently watching this on YouTube. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I know that most of you are not even subbed to the channel yet, so if you like Heroes of the Storm, and you would like the coverage to continue, even 6-7 years after Blizzard axed each GC and the entire esports scene, then do me a favor, hit that sub button and hit the like button. It would be very much appreciated. Now we have bounties obviously in the tournament here, and just to give you guys a bit of an idea, these are the bounties that are currently available for the teams, and we already had a Cho'Gall bounty completed and a Gazlo bounty completed. And I went over this on the first Playday quite in depth, but pretty much what we did for the second season, we adjusted the way that we deal with bounties a little bit. So now you don't get a fixed amount of money for completing a bounty, but you are getting a ticket for the bounty pool. There's $1,000 in the bounty prize pool. There's also additional prize money just for the tournament as per usual. But you have now a bounty pool, and that bounty pool is $1,000. So every single time that the team completes a bounty, they get a ticket, and that means that at the end of the tournament, we're gonna see who gets how much money from the bounty pool, depending on how many bounties they completed over the turn of the season. So that's kind of the idea here. I think it's a pretty cool one because it incentivizes teams, particularly in the round robin phase that we currently have with the 8 teams, to go for bounties, and then later on when you're like in the finals, when you're in the semi-finals, and when there's a lot on the line already and the games are pretty intense, then maybe you don't want to play with that handicap that you're obviously going to get if you are opting in for a bounty. So there's a couple of things that we're definitely going to check out right now. Looking at the game between Hlopaka's team and Dynouh's team, it's noteworthy again that we also have with Crow, aka Hyde, a Korean on the side of the blue team, so he's the only Korean participating in the tournament here. We had a couple of Americans sign up and being drafted, but the way the teams were formed is through a captain's draft. So everybody could just apply as an individual player to the tournament. With more than 100 players sign up, those players then determined the captains, they voted for them, and then afterwards the captains drafted the teams out of that player pool, and that's how we got the teams here. So that shakes things up a little bit. It's actually pretty cool every now and then to just shake up the meta, not only when it comes to heroes and drafts, but also to which teams are good and which teams can really aim for victory here. And we'll see what they can do. Tomb of the Spider Queen is our first map again in its best of 3 series, so the full round robin will be played out as best of 3s, and then afterwards we're moving more into best of 5 territory. But we now have Leoric, we got Diablo, and Stukov gets very quickly banned here for Tomb, which is still one of my favorites maps. I mean, every single time that we see Tomb, it is quite fun. I really like it. There's a lot they can do here. It's a bit sad that Vala got banned. We had one game with Vala yesterday where she was actually banned with a played with a multi-shot build. I would love to see that a bit more depending on the map. Now, let's say you play a Battlefield of Eternity. That's obviously not something you're looking for. But Infernal Shrines might be a map where you could bust it out. You could do it on Tomb of the Spider Queen, theoretically. Yeah, and by now we have a ban on Tigers as well. Now, personally, I don't expect that we're going to see any bounties in the first game. I was already pretty vocal about the fact that I think that we are going to see more bounties towards the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Playday. Maybe even towards the end of the round robin, when the power levels between the teams are a bit more clear. I think a lot of teams will still try to just like win their series and test the waters a little bit. Look who's good and who might be an easier win where you can get away with playing a bounty. But to my surprise, we had 2 bounties on the first Playday already, so maybe we're going to see more this Playday. There's obviously quite a lot that you can do, and I hope a lot that we are going to get. Sylvanas and Garrosh in the house, so front line has now been set for Team Hlopaka. And keep your eye out on them, because they did pretty well on the first Playday. We get Brightwing, we get Li Ming as our final 2. And with that now, Hlopaka as the final pick, the captain for game number 1 in the best of 3 series here on the second Playday of the second season of the Banshee Cup. A bit more damage would definitely do a lot of good for them. I still want to have Kalthas with Convection. I think at some point this is going to be played, and Tomb of the Spider Queen would be a good map for it because you get the quest completed so much faster. Not necessarily on the first map, we get Hanzo instead, which again makes a lot more sense given the match at hand. But with that, let's go. Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 1. Game number 1 on the left side, Dynouh and his boys with Krankle on Liming, Danazovsky on Brightwing, Dynouh on Junkrat, Crow on Leoric, and the Dark Wolf on Diablo. Danazovsky, every single time that I read that name, I honestly think about like a novelist or a writer. You know, somebody like with a little bit of gravitas there. But yeah. Either way, over on the right side, Hlopaka for his team with Hanzo. We got Parnax on Garrosh, Hunter Orc on Lucio, Miriala on Sylvanas, and Hirath is playing Blade. So, I think at some point we should just call him Tchaikovsky or something like that. Like, yeah, he's like a composer, a novelist, you know, just something like that. Or just an amazing chess player. Either way would work. Sylvanas at the top is getting some initial damage in against the wall, so that's exactly what they were trying to do here. When you play with Sylvanas, you oftentimes just attempt to sneak her in at the beginning of the game towards one of the structures and get a tower down to 50% HP. That's most of the time what you can get away with. Teams that try to be a little bit too greedy and take a tower down completely normally end up losing a hero or two, so yes, you don't want to overdo it. Garrosh in the house, no Zarya combo for this, but you can still get a good flip out of him, and then of course the jet propulsion of Blaze, that is traditionally the follow-up on that combo. And with that, you can do a lot of work. So, Parnax might be in a bit of trouble talking about Garrosh. Yeah, Caster Curse is hitting hard, and he is first blood. This is an interesting game. This is really pretty curious, at least for me, because I want to know how Dynouh's boys are performing here. Dynouh lost to Team Ultralisk, and they didn't take a map, and Hlopaka's team won. But can they go up against Dynouh here? We're talking about the power levels in this Captain Draft style setup, and what the teams can do. I mean, this is really one that will determine a lot. If Dynouh loses here as well, then the team is going to be in a bit of trouble. You don't want to start into a tournament like this with 2 losses right away. So, yeah, that would be pretty rough for them. Hlopaka, on the other hand, they already have 1 win, so if they would lose here, it would still be absolutely fine for them. They would find themselves in a decent spot. But of course, a double victory just starting into the round robin would give them already a very nice position for the standings. And they're going to be pretty important. You want to ensure that you are as high up in the leaderboard as you possibly can at the end of the season, simply because it comes with a lot of benefits. You can dodge some of the stronger teams that you might face off against. You are getting advantages in the next phase, in the group stage, when it comes to first picks, to map choices. So it's kind of important that you're really fighting for every single win as much as you can. Now level 4 is already slowly starting to kick in. Sylvanas is always useful when it comes to defense here. With level 4 we now also have Indomitable by Garrosh. After dying early, he's still fine. But he has to turn an attempt on the side of Team Dynouh, and Dark Wolf was able to get that done already. But he's the only one. Now, teams are pretty even in gems that they've collected so far. But we haven't seen anything turned in for the red team just yet. And they're actually starting to fall a bit behind on the gem counting. Oh, for the kill at the bottom of the map though. And Hyde is gone. Hyde on... Oh, they didn't guard the gems though. I mean, this wasn't too many, but Diablo was still able to pick them up. So yep, Hyde on Leoric has now fallen, activated a straight. So that's the first kill for Team Hlopaka. The first one that they were able to grab. Brightwing helping out again over here with Krankle, who's of course going to be looking for resets throughout the game. They try to go for Hlopaka, and oh, that was a bit clutch. If that poorly hits him half a second earlier, then he's not able to jump out and might even die there. So, yep, nicely done. Down at the bottom of the map, Sylvanas already looking for a flank. They opened up the wall too. And a bit of a turn-in is currently happening, where at least Garrosh is able to turn in, and oh, Liming didn't see them. So they're turning in the rest of the gems. Blue team is able to get themselves maybe the first set of Weavers, but first it's a fight in the middle of the map as they're both trying for another kill. Garrosh with Indomitable saving his butt, and that's level 7 in their hands. And still the fight for Weaver Wave number 1. Krankle for a second in trouble, still able to get out, but it's the blue team that delivers, and they get the first set of spiders on the map. My mom hates spiders. She hates them with a passion. I still remember when I was like a little kid. I have no idea how old I was. I really can't remember. Like 8, 9 maybe. My uncle, he got one of those rubber spiders. It's like these big, ugly rubber spiders that are like super hairy, and he was on some kind of trip or vacation and he got one. And then he came to me and he gave me the spider and he's like, go to your mom and just like, go to your mom and just like throw that at your mom. And I mean, I was young and dumb, so I was like, that's a great idea. So I went over there. I was like, look, mom, here. And I just like threw it casually at her. That was the quickest slap that I've ever received in my entire life. My mom just yelling, insta slap, and my uncle laughing his ass off. And I was just like, I shouldn't trust this guy anymore. So, yeah. Kind of reminds me every single time I see the spiders coming down. It still hurts today. Okay, so killer for a kill. Topside fort already halfway destroyed, so pretty good for Team Dynouh. Looking solid there. Not too bad for the first objective. Wall destroyed in the middle of the map, doing a little bit of work up at the top. And now it's just a question of whether or not they can deny the turn into their opponents. But with Hireth trying to get those 14... Ooh, yeah, Hyde is there in time. Alright. Hyde is there just in time, and he's also there in time to die. He gets Hanzo, that's 12 gems on the ground, and once again, Diablo trying to recover them. Not able to pull it off though, so that's gems down the drain. But Parnax is in trouble, finds himself on the wrong side of the wall, and now fully surrounded by the opponent. Dynouh with a tactical pause here. Oh boy. Tactically pausing the game, just trying to make sure that they're definitely going to kill Garrosh right now. That's of course the real reason for the pause, no matter what reason they're going to give later. So they're just setting everything up. No, honestly, when they're pausing the game, the one thing that I'm always worried about a little bit is that they're having a problem with Hyde. Hyde, again, playing on the account Crow with Leoric, had an issue yesterday where he had some trouble logging in initially into the game, but apparently everything worked out then afterwards. But yeah, at this point, I just want to make sure that he's not running into trouble. We already had one game that was decided by a player fully dropping out of the game, not being able to reconnect, so I hope this is the only one for the tournament. Diablo gets caught, flipped, and yes, they tied a bow around him, and that was a nice present for Hanzo. Hlopaka with another big hit, and they got the kill. Nice. On the damage count, Hlopaka with the 25,000 that he brings to the table, currently top damage in the game by quite the margin, more than doubling the damage output that we see from Junkrat, for example. With 3 kills to 1, they're also on the earlier level 10, and they're trying to use that to take the camp here. Now Dynouh slows things down a bit as he uses his own mind, but they are apparently still trying to fight for this one, aren't they? Maybe not. And they're slowly falling back. At the top, the fort still standing, but barely. And down here, Warden and 2 by Hyde. Over the wall, catching 2. But the Riptire gets destroyed, and both Lucio and Garrosh are still alive. Webweavers now on all the lanes, down at the bottom of the map. Severe damage at the fort, and this one is definitely going to fall. So they are hoping to take a second one out of the rest of the team, specifically by using Sylvanas, of course, in these fights. 3 kills to 1 now. Dark Wolf again, bit low, gets hit by the jet propulsion, the stun connects, and they have Diablo on the ropes. He has to retreat and tap the fountain again, which now allows them to, well, rotate over to the top, I suppose, because the Webweavers here in the middle have also been eliminated. Yep, and there's the push. Already looking to go for Dynouh. Yeah, they're thinking of moving in from the side here and flanking him hard. But I gotta say, the blue team is actually defending fairly well, given the circumstance. They only lost the fort at the bottom, and that was inevitable. Now Garrosh gets killed, so they're making the best out of that situation. Get some kills, and might just be in a position where they can get a follow-up. But you can tell at the gem count now that there is quite a difference between the two. Those 3 kills that the red team got were super helpful for them to get the gem advantage over their opponents. They have now a bit of a structural advantage as well, but given the status of the topside fort, this is not going to last much longer. But we could still see the red team with a second Webweaver wave first, because they are only 5 gems away of making that happen, always assuming they're able to turn all of them in. And if they can do that or not, time will tell. Arrow! Oh, yeah, that one is just going absolutely nowhere. I mean, damn son, they're attacking Mexico apparently this time. Most of them are flying straight up over to the States, but this one is definitely aimed a little bit lower. So apparently Texas is fighting back. Oof. 3 kills to 2. If that arrow connected, on the other hand, it would have most likely led to a kill or 2. Yeah, that could definitely be a thing. But here comes the attack against Crow. They try to go for Leo, and Hyde goes down. Hyde is gone. Riptire connects. Bang. Oh, and so does the jet propulsion. And that was a good one. Nice jet propulsion. Good body blocks against Diablo. And the Wolf is about to go down, but they at least are... Oh, we are killing Sylvanas and Hanzo. They get a double kill for that. Total bloodbath here in the middle as the teams are locking in level 13 talents. But yep, we're going ham on this one. Both teams with a fair amount of gems too that they could try and turn in here. Leo is by now back to business, so it's a 5 versus 3 on the map for now, as they are going for Garrosh, and that's going to be the end of Parnax. It's going to take a second or 2 until they can finally get him, but he's definitely not going to survive this one. Here comes the Calamity kill. Garrosh is gone. That's another 6 gems down the drain. Hirath at least was able to turn in, so they're only 14 away from getting the next turn in. But yep, not too bad. Not too shabby. Getting some work done over here. 5 kills to 5. And also a nice damage output by now from Li Ming, sitting at 23,000. Nearly the same as Junkrat, whereas Khaldor, of course, with all the poke that he provides, is still way ahead of everyone else. Leo ghosting out. I like that they are just continuously aggressive here. Structurally, not all that much has happened since then. Oh, Lucio! And he gets murdered as well. Krankel showing no mercy over here. The frontliners died a couple of times, but all the backliners, they're looking absolute solid here. We still have an arrow out for Hanzo. Garrosh could come in and follow up with his own ult as well whenever they're willing to take a fight, but with Lucio missing, it's highly unlikely that they're gonna engage into a prolonged battle. But they are still forced into one, and that is the end of Garrosh. Even with the arrow being YOLO'd out, the question is, can they get a counter kill now? And yes, they can at least get Leoric. But killing Leo is just not enough, especially if you then lose Blaze shortly after. Trading Leo for any other hero is always fine, but Hanzo gets a kill on Brightwing, and that changes things a bit. 8 kills to 7, but the blue team still gets the Web Weavers. But Hanzo able to get another kill here, that was quite important. Now Brightwing can obviously jump back in once that she is back to business, but that might help them just a bit, because Garrosh is back in 2 seconds, we have Blaze on the way as well. The lead in experience goes by now fully over to the blue team, and they're going to grab an early level 16, which should help them with this push. So it's perfectly aligned right now. You have the Web Weavers on the ground, level 16 kicks in, you have the additional talent, which gives us Royal Focus. We have the debilitating flames and also Critterize now for Brightwing, as Li Ming of course goes for Mirror Ball. Yeah, the top 4 is gone. Bottom 4 doesn't look too good either. It's already down to 50% HP as Blaze is desperately trying to hold the lane for them. But here in the middle, the situation is pretty clear. They're getting zoned away, they gotta retreat, and this one is gonna fall. So Team Dynouh starting to build up some strong momentum. Arrow is out, goes for Li Ming, but they just cannot get that kill. Looking for it, but yep, they just can't grab it. So Garrosh is out. He gets eliminated again. We now got 16 to 15 on the board, but with those continuous kills and the follow-ups that we're getting from the blue team, they're just looking to build up more momentum, and it just looks insanely powerful. All the forts are gone for the red team. The boss is now going to be attacked by everyone else on Dynouh's side, and I do not think they can contest this. Without a proper frontline tank that helps them here, there's just no way. They're going to try and poke. I mean, if they somehow can get a kill, that would be great, but they got to be careful because the tomb is back up. That Diablo is down, but the boss is taken. Boss is taken. Now they just got to get out. Leo is gone. Diablo is gone, so the boss at least comes at a price. And kudos to Team Hlopaka for getting 2 kills here. They were fighting a 4 versus 5 after all. So, not too bad. But we'll see what they can now do with that situation. Because they themselves still have gems. They could turn in here. Sylvanas is defending, Blaze is defending, but they can work on that turn in. We have them with level 16, that gives us Will of the Forsaken, and we got the Juggernaut plating too. Top side, yep, the attack continues. And right there, are they going to be able to get a bit more done here? I think that's going to be the big question, right? So, can they? Down goes this one at least. But what else? Boss is gone. There's still siege giants down at the bottom of the map they're going to try and make a play for. And yeah, time will tell how far they can go with this. But for the time being, we have nobody trying to go for a turn in here. Nobody's making any big plays around it. So yeah, that ain't happening. Everybody's just like chilling, relaxing a little bit, waiting for the next chance to move into the middle, complete the turn in, get Web Beaver. Specifically the red team, of course, is aiming for it. And they're hoping that they can also close the gap in experience so that the blue team doesn't walk away with Storm Talon advantage or a window of opportunity there that's too big to deal with it. But Krangle is about to turn in 24 gems, and that not only makes his own play. I mean, this is a bit of a sigh of relief that he can breathe here, because that means that he can now be super aggressive. Oh, starting to start. Beautiful combo against Dynouh. First the arrow and then Blaze with the jet propulsion. They still couldn't get the kill though. And yeah, it's a bit dicey, isn't it? Looked really, really good initially here, but it is just not enough. So, once again, the attack incoming as they're all looking for kills that they just can't get. It's a one level gap between the two teams still. That hasn't changed. They were hoping to get the kill here, and I really love how they synced up those stuns against Junkrat, but it was just not possible for them to drop their target. And now in the meantime, we're having the blue team just trying to capitalize on the position in the game that they have. Don't forget, they've taken every single fort out. They still hold 2 of them. And now they can more or less turn in. They have 50 gems in total, counting the ones that they already turned in as well. So they're 10 away from the next Web Weaver wave, which would be, of course, their 3rd. Dynouh, can they kill him now? Dynouh low, and there it is, the kill against Junkrat. They lose Garrosh, maybe another kill for them? Nope, it's instead Lucio that dies. And this is now getting... Oh, Krangle with that big hit on leaving, beasting it. Getting level 20 for the team and the kill against Sylvanas. And now, of course, the world's their oyster. Dynouh and his boys, they can go and push some of those walls out. They can go and get themselves the next turn in. They have the gems in just a moment. They only need 1 more, which Krangle just picked up. And yep, that's the big opportunity. Get level 20, get the turn in at the same time, push with all the advantages that you have, and at least take 1 keep down. And the one up at the top is, of course, the one that will fall pretty much 100% if they commit to it. But there in the middle of the map, they have an opportunity to get some more damage done, and it just lines up all so well for them. They are delaying this slightly, though. I'm actually not quite sure if I agree with this, because I think if you would have turned in immediately, you would have hit the other team before they had everybody back up on the map and before they had level 20. Now, they would have gotten it during the push, but now they will have both of these things ready by the time that the push actually starts. So I think they had an opportunity to take this a little bit faster and just maybe pick up a follow-up kill. Maybe just stagger some. But now it's 20 versus 20. They want to have a fair fight. This is sportsmanship right there. A round of applause for the sportsmanship that we're getting from them at this point. So, round of applause. Nice sportsmanship from Team Dynouh. They waited until level 20 was ready for Hlopaka's team. They waited until they had the 5 back up on the map before they really started the attack here. So now we got Bullseye. We also have Mix and Fire. We got the fortified bunker. And I'm still calling the destruction of the top side keep. I don't think this one is going to make it. Middle, bot lane, both are being pushed here. Riptire is already coming out as it starts to connect and drops Lucio a bit lower. But yeah, keep is definitely gone. So, and here comes Entomb. Entomb, and they're killed. Bye-bye, Garrosh. 13 kills to 10. Pretty intense first map between the two teams, but you can clearly tell that Dynouh's boys, at least in the late game, are a bit more savvy. So now the bottom keep, the middle keep, they're all about to get dropped. If they can get more kills, they can even go for the core. But Diablo falls, it turns into a 4 versus 4. I wouldn't lie though if I wouldn't mention that we have still enormous pressure towards the red team's core. It's nearly impossible for them to stop. There's just attacks coming from every single lane right now, and they're fully pinned down in their own base. Hanzo is about to hit the 6-digit club in damage, but that doesn't do anything for them. What they need is kills, and honestly, right now they need a bit of a miracle, because this is not looking good whatsoever. I mean, even if you win the team fight, how are you bringing this back? I don't think they can win the team fight in the first place, but even if they did, they still have to go through forts, through keeps. It would have to be quite a team wipe in order to get any kind of headway and try and stabilize. But of course, it looks more and more like this is going to be a 1-0. Really nice dodge from Sylvanas. Miriala with some fantastic plays to dodge out on the damage from Diablo. But the core, unfortunately for them, cannot run away, cannot dodge any damage. So that is game as Team Dynouh takes the lead in the best of 3. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2, Dynouh's team is in the lead. So, already super interesting. For me, this is exactly what I mentioned in the first game, or the draft of the first game, that now we have that situation where Dynouh is winning against Hlopaka, a team that already won on the first Playday. So yeah, we're still establishing the power levels between the teams here. And it's just always awesome in a Captain's Draft format to see that at the beginning. Now, as I said, Captain's Draft has, of course, a lot of downsides as well. You are in a scenario where you can easily end up with a team, you know, where the players don't really get along all that well, where there's internal problems. You will never have Captain's Draft teams that are playing on the exact same level as teams that form more naturally, where you have people that play together a lot. That have a lot more training together. So there's a little bit of a drop in skill on that, or in coordination on that as well. And it comes with occasionally all kinds of problems here. Maybe there's some hero pool issues that they have or whatnot. But at the same time, it's cool to just mix it up every now and then. It's more so a format that leads itself to like a single isolated event, like here a tournament. But yeah, pretty excited to see what's now going on with power levels throughout Playday number 2 and also, I would say, Playday number 3. Can Hlopaka fight back? That's basically the question. Can they do something about it here? Cho'Gall getting banned is, of course, a little bit of a sad note to all of this. We're having Muradin starting things up. And again, since we have the bounties, another quick reminder on what the current bounties are, if some will be picked up. One of the bounties that I personally really want to see is also the Stitches Alexstrasza combo with a level 1 talent. We've already seen this a bit. Now, obviously, you're giving up a few things. I don't think this is something we're going to see on the first or second map, but let's say we're having map number 3 or 4 in the series later on being Tomb of Spider Queen, then I could absolutely see that playing a role here. So, yeah, there's a lot that they could actually do with this. In the game at hand, we now have Hlopaka and ETC taken. So, they already have a global now. Technically, we could even see a triple frontline, I guess. But ETC seems like they're going to play him in a main tank position. He's been played a lot and picked a lot very early, and then they decide later on if they want to play him as a pseudo-global with stage dive as a level 10 ability, or as a main tank with Mosh Pit. And in this case, since they're picking both together, it seems like a pretty clear choice. Greymane for Dynouh, and Hyde is playing Urel this time. So, yeah, let's see what specifically Hlopaka's team can now do. What I want to highlight is that Miriala is actually someone that I liked on Playday number 1, and we've also seen some pretty cool moves with Sylvanas on the second map. Sorry, on the first map of this series right now. That one dodge against Li Ming topside around the boss was just absolutely fantastic. So really playing extremely well there. So definitely something that I'm curious to see. I want to see if we're getting more of this as all of this continues. Deckard Cain gets banned as well. And yeah, with the next double pick, we need some damage. Some damage specifically when we're talking about the shrine now. And ETC is always... ETC was once one of the best tanks that you could have if you were a skilled player. Now he's a bit weak on the hit point pull too, so we'll see. ETC is very, very hit or miss. He can be amazing, but he can also be very tricky to play, and we'll see if he has a chance there. I like that ETC Kalthas combo though, because you can go for power slide into gravity lapse, and we've seen this actually a few times, that exactly that combo was played out and was successful. Them playing Kalthas is also interesting, because Kalthas is a hero that in Banshee Cup season number 1 we've seen occasionally, on Infernal Shrines particularly. But now you have that added factor of a potential convection pick for a bounty. Ana and Oriel are getting picked, so we actually are looking at a double support with Greymane. Didn't see that coming, to be absolutely honest with you. Double support Greymane is not something that you see all that often. And the final pick now for Hunter Orc over on the side of Team Hlopaka. What are they getting for the added damage? Khaldor alone is not gonna do it for them. They need a bit more than that. And it's false that it's the birdie. So we have a double global for Team Hlopaka. Bit of a macro game for them, I guess. Infernal Shrines, everybody. Map number 2. Let's go. 1-0 for Team Dynouh. The blue team in the lead in the series. And over on the left, we got Dynouh himself on Greymane. We got the Dark Wolf on Muradin. Krankle on Oriel. Danozovsky on Anna. And Crow, aka Hyde, is playing Urel. Over on the right side of the map, it's the red team with Hlopaka himself on Falstad. We got Herath on Dehaka. Double global. Could be a triple global after level 10, depending on what Parnax is planning to do here. Him playing ETC. We got Hunter Orc on Anduin, and Miriale is playing Khaldor and is holding that level 1 talent still. Ah, that's unfortunate. I didn't really expect Convection to be picked yet. I think we're definitely going to see attempts to complete the Convection bounty throughout the course of the tournament, but I would have been very surprised to see it happen right here. If anything, then I believe it's going to be attempted on the Spider Queen at some point. So yeah, that would be my personal guess. Either way, Urel hasn't done anything yet, so the Space Goat currently still holding out on us. We have at least one Globe talent with Prog Rock already claimed. And, well, they are catching, or nearly catching, Khaldor. Able to get him because Huntdog is still there, and Anduin is doing his thing. Yeah, Anduin being useful as a character, definitely doing a few things there. Oh, what? Urel gone at the top. Alright, so they got a kill there. And Blizzard apparently these days trying to make Anduin more manly, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely hilarious. Like, if anything, they should have just renamed him and go full California on him and just call him Anduina from here on out. That would have more reflected his true self. But trying to make him all of a sudden a manly, manly figure and leader is kind of funny. I mean, it shows that Blizzard still has a sense of humor. Then again, you already know that if you watch their recent releases, so yeah. 1 kill to 0, so they're starting things off with the first blood here. Everybody seems to be very eager to get that camp down here, and oh, the damage is coming in, so is Greymane, as it's coming in deep, and ETC is gone! The camp still being contested, and the blue team claims it. Even Urel is coming in, Falstad just doesn't care, but Hyde! Oh, he gets away with 90 HP. He got nearly killed by that CC chain that hit him right at the gate when the towers were starting to connect with him. Now Falstad is still up at the top, and there, of course, he could push the wall out a little bit further. We now got level 4 talents on both sides, and that also gives us Energy Royal. So taking a little bit of a page out of Nano's book. Curious if he also follows up with the Sunfire enchantment on level 7 as Nano normally does, or what we're gonna get here. Now on top of that we have Muradin going straight into the Reverberation. I feel like this is the perfect time for me to rant about the name again. Reverberation, this thing is not reverberating. It doesn't. That's the other one. So yeah, Thunderburn. Breathe, Khaldor, breathe. Alright. They should have never legalized drugs in California. I honestly think somebody should map out when they started to legalize drugs in California and map it onto the decline of Blizzard and see if that matches. I might be totally wrong here, it's just a theory, but somebody should have a look, because I have an inkling that that might actually overlap pretty well. Has anybody ever checked that? It's not actually Activision, you know, that came in and did something. It's just like that everybody that was on the developing, on the decision-making side, all of a sudden just got high all day and then made questionable choices. So, first objective is up. We got now level 7 talents for the two teams on the horizon, but it seems that the red team isn't even willing to fight for this at all. So, yeah. Instead, we have them on 39, so they're waiting this out. There is a bit of top lane pressure being done, so a wall got destroyed, but they're already doing work at the bottom as well, so there's a wall that's gone too. And the blue team is definitely going to take this one. Red team can now come in and try and do something about it, but it's not happening. They are getting a kill against Muradin though, so that definitely helps. That makes it a lot easier there. So, yeah, good for them. 2 kills to 1. There's the jump. Double support is still allowing them to stay in this fight a bit longer, even without a tank, I suppose. They still have Urel that they could use, but it's a 4 versus 3 after all. The Frozen Punisher then again is putting that fort already out of commission for some time. So they might get the entire thing, and yep, they're pushing them back. Dynouh is having a field day, of course, with 2 pocket healers that he can use. So he's just poking against Anduin, as he should, time and time again. And they're easily moving away, taking that fort out. So blue team on their way to elite in game number 2. Slightly behind in experience, but now they took the first fort out, so that will change quickly. And they're just looking pretty good. So with that, we now have all the way up at the top, Muradin still fighting against Hlopaka. But I gotta say, I mean, Dynouh and his boys are doing exceptionally well right now. Hlopaka with a victory from yesterday, coming in here and hoping, of course, not only win the map, but also the series. Quick reminder, map wins are important. So it's not only about you winning the match itself, that obviously is the most important thing. It gives you points for the leaderboard, but also map wins will play a role whenever teams are tied. So they should really fight for every single one of them. And level 7, by the way, got the Burn Flesh for Khaldor. And over here, Pinball Wizard is in. And with level 7, we're now also having Skullcracker for Muradin. So all of those little mini stuns that you're going to try and connect as best as possible. The red team has rotated. Now, they are pushing the top, trying to go for a fort here. They should really stay too long. And specifically, Khaldor is dead. He should be dead. Khaldor is 100% dead. I think Anduin is also not going to make it. A whip into the wall, and yep, there's Hunter Orc that's going to suffer next. They just stayed too long. The idea to go for the fort, I honestly don't have no problem with that whatsoever. I think it was a really good call, but they needed to go back a lot sooner than they did. And keep in mind, they are the ones with all the globals. So now we have level 10 abilities for Team Dynouh. They've just taken 3 kills. They can burst through the top lane, and we'll see. Anduin is going for the word.
He has a word. It's the best word. The word is salvation. It's a great word. Starts with an S, ends with an N. Everybody knows it. It's a great word, and we should all use it more often. Fantastic word. I approve that choice.
So yeah, Anduin can now go and channel his inner Donald on this one and use all the words, because he has the best words. And yeah, I expect a light bomb. But then again, with the combo that they have here. Oh, there it is, the bubble! And gets interrupted right away. It's actually quite the choice to use that against Muradin or Urel. I mean, look what's on there on the other side. Even Mosh Pit. There's so many interrupts available for them. And now Falset's gone, Anduin is gone, ETC dies. They got 2 counter kills. But it's still a 3 versus 2. The topside fort has suffered. And whew, boy, oh boy, are they in trouble here. So, yeah. They have the globals, and I haven't really seen any global plays that knocked my socks off. So, if they want to play the macro game, then they got to step it up a little bit. It's definitely not enough yet. 16,000 damage for Khaldor. He's top dog on the red team. We have 19,000 for their opponents with Greymane. But, yep. 7 kills to 4. Bit of a leading experience. If anything, it surprises me how close Team Hlopaka still is. If you look at the experience distribution over here, it's mainly stemming from the fact that they do well on the minion waves. They are trailing in hero experience, and of course passive experience is now also going to be quite a bit stronger with that fort at the bottom of the map destroyed, always assuming that they can get the one at the top as well. Now, in an ideal world, you would have tried to take down the topside fort before that Shrine spawns to take out the fountain and allow yourself to have a much better position on this. That didn't really happen, so now the question is, how much more can they do here? So, yeah, with that, seems like the blue team is going to get another objective. I mean, they're not too far ahead just yet, but Falset is in the middle. The Hlopaka is down at the bottom of the map, so they're finally starting to use those global abilities. The Hlopaka is now moving in for the fight, and Falset does too. Gets the Gust. Okay, they're forcing the battle, and specifically Anna is in a pickle. But so is Hyde. He gets out, drops his ult, the bubble from Anduin. Ah, the lick on Muradin. That was the big one. Muradin with Avatar, and he still gets out. It's actually ridiculous how much sustain those 2 healers currently give them. The double heal is absolutely glorious for them at this point in time. So they are still able to get out. Easy peasy, but what a fight.
I mean, yes, they are just going ham on this, and finally we get a kill. So Danazovsky, after he did so well for such a long time, he finally falls. They get the kill on Ana, and now they're just continuing with a focus on Urel, who doesn't have an ult anymore, and falls. Hyde is gone, so is Muradin. And Team Hlopaka, ladies and gentlemen, coming in with a bit of a bang here towards the mid-game, hoping to get the objective after all, drawing even in kills, 7-7. And having false stats straight up back in the middle of the map for the added experience. So not too shabby. Yeah, all of a sudden we're getting into a position where the red team seems to be taking over. Half a level ahead. Even kills now. They're getting the objective for sure. That will take down the top side fort. But Hlopaka has to be careful here as well. There goes one-on-one, but should have probably realized somebody's coming. If not for Krankle saying hello. That would have been it. So yeah, kind of funny. Dynouh gets crushed, even though he has a lot of assistance there. But 3 was a bit too much. 2 heroes, they would have been able to deal with this. Objective already pushing up at the top. But yeah, take another look at this. Dynouh was very confident that he can make that happen. And then it was just like, yep, nope, not happening.
Nope.
So yeah, Greymane goes down. And it's not too bad. I mean, Forces still traded 1v1 and wasted a lot of their time. Now the top fort is gone. 8 kills to 8, and 16 is coming in pretty soon. So with that minion wave that they're getting, they will likely get a bit closer, but they're not willing to push here, and I don't really blame them. Now Falset is back, of course, but it's gonna get interesting as the game progresses. I really want to see what they can do with their globals. We haven't seen too much global pressure play yet. Seen a little bit. But I want to see what happens once that they feel a bit more confident in the late game to split the lanes and really push the catapults out. Because once that we are in a situation where the catapults can really start to do solid damage, this could be pretty good for them. So, yeah. Fairly eager to see how they're going to do this now. 8 kills to 8. In addition to that, we now still have the... Oh, the whip coming out for just a second here. Yeah, and the save on Dehaka. As Hiraz is able to move away from this. 27 stacks, by the way, for Kel'Thas. It's not insane, but he has obviously completed his quest previously, and is now the shield. Nice done. Yes, the follow-up with the gravity lapse, forcing Muradin to go for Avatar. Another gust, the Stormbolt connected, but a bit too late. Aegis used. Mosh Pit. They're trying to buy a bit more time here and just look over to Krankle. Krankle wants the kill against Anduin, and he gets it. No, he doesn't. The bubble, too much. What a play again. Krankle goes down, nearly went full damage Oriel on them. And now after they took Oriel down, they also take Urel. But yeah, look at that fight again. This was so close. Anduin barely survived. Look at this. Totally insane. Popped the ult towards the end. Saved the day for them. But yeah, that got dangerous very, very quickly. Really cool play though from Hunter Hawk. And he was just a bit too tough in that situation. So now it's a 5 versus 3 on the map. They're doing damage in the middle. Falset has pushed out the bottom of the map. The experience lead grows for them as well. And it is a wild one. It's a really wild game. You can see that Hlopaka and his boys are throwing everything at the second map in an attempt to force the final one. Nano boosted Muradin. Yeah, but they defended the fort. They were able to defend the fort here. So that's already half the battle, I assume. Down to the bottom of the map, Hlopaka also sitting tight here. And yep, over towards the top right. Now Miriale with the next camp that they're about to claim. 8 kills to 10. And on the damage side, what we're getting is Kel'Thas with 38,000. He's not the top damage dealer in the game, but at least on his team. 50,000 for Greymane. And I mean, he better be, right? If you have 2 supports behind you, then you need to go full face, you need to go ham, and to really show that you can dish out a little bit of damage. So, yeah, there's that. But, okay. So, with that being said and done, we're now having at the bottom another attack against Dark Wolf, and pops the Avatar to get out.
has used the ult. Damage is coming. So does the bullet from Greymane as they're trying to get another kill in. 18 versus 18. I love how they are just at each other's throat the entire game already. I mean, it's just fight after fight. Falstad now flying topside to try and take the Shaman out. And if you can pull that off and then rejoin with the rest of the team on the objective, they might have the upper hand here. So they're using their Globus a little bit more. Krankle gets attacked again, but he's also getting a whip out against the Hlopaka. Anduin, on the other hand, once again to the rescue with another pull. The pull-out king is making work. Short work of them. So, topside is getting pressured now. One Shaman camp still exists, the other one has been eliminated. Falstad is still sitting there. They're starting to go for the objective. The birdie can take another wave down if he wants to go that deep. 20 is still too far off, but they're going for Muradin, who has 10 more seconds until his avatar is back. Gust being used. They're trying to get them out of position here. Falstad needs to be very careful that he doesn't become the target. Hlopaka has done great for his team thus far. Here comes ETC! Yrel in trouble. Greymane as well. There's the bubble from Anduin, and they're getting good shots in against Hyde. Hyde has to retreat. Topside camp is now at the keep, and Yrel goes down. Yrel is down, and the heals are strong enough to save ETC. But while this fight is going on, this is becoming a real problem right now. This is the keep that we're talking about here. So Team Hlopaka, look how close they are in experience. Also the level 20, they're going to get Storm Talents any moment. They're in a fantastic spot. Can they get another kill here? They're looking for it. Dehaka with a burrow. Harnax trying to get out. It's Dehaka that falls first. Nobody on the blue team has died. Nano boosted Krankle is going full Oriel on them. And they're retreating, waiting for level 20. But the top side keep has now fallen. So, big plays here. Somebody has to be sent back in order to deal with this. If not, I mean, Yrel can deal with it in 10 seconds, but if they wait for her, then the core is going to take a little bit of damage. Not a lot, but it's going to take some. Very likely, at least. Fort in the middle gets destroyed. And I guess the core gets saved by the camp. Yeah, a little bit of damage. No, it's 100%. Okay, that's 99.9%. That's not 100. That was a sliver of health missing. You can't lie to me. Wind Tunnel is in. The bubble got upgraded, by the way, to the Light of Stormwind. But Hlopaka... Oh, yo. Yeah, Dynouh's going full Greymane on them right now. It's actually impressive how quickly they were able to close the gap in experience, and now they are the ones that are trying to push for a keep. If they can take this one, they're drawing even in structures, or basically. Not quite, but it seems like they might be able to hold. Yes, maybe, and it still has enough hit points left. Unless, of course, Team Dynouh is now sieging up on it, and it seems like that's what we're getting. Ana with the dynamic optics on level 20. We get the diamond resolve from Oriel, and the keep is gone. Yeah, these two, they are really fighting for every single inch of the map now. 17 minutes in, and it is just fireworks. Fight after fight. 20 kills now in total. And solid plays from both teams here. Again, the drag. Follow-up CC attempt, but Aegis is being used here. So Hyde is totally fine. Falstad is looking for that Gust, and they are always putting Ana in trouble. Gust into Tong. Ana fully exposed. So much sustain though, so much heal, and Anduin is gone. They really tried. It was such a great attempt, but now Falstad and Anduin are both dead. They still were able to take Granny out, but this is of course bad news. With Greymane being alive, they can go for an attack, maybe even here in the middle towards the core. No, not, because there's 3 catapults on the core, 18 minutes in. Can they end? I am not so sure. They're gonna take damage on their core now, at least they should. But I'm not sure they can end, unless they get some kills. It's a 4 versus 3. Oriel is nearly dead. Blue team's core is losing some hit points, but not a lot because another minion wave spawned. We're not that deep in the game yet. So 97% as the red team is slowly starting to lose hit points on their main structure. The attacks, they are coming, but some of the heroes are soon going to be back too. Greymane is a huge problem right now for them, of course. Parnax trying to retreat here. And can they go for Hera? 63%! And Greymane with just attack after attack. Dynouh dancing around the core here. Stutter stepping his way to glory and victory. And that is likely going to be game. 16%, 12. That's it. A 2-0 victory for the blue team. Team Dynouh taking their first best of 3 win at Banshee Cup season number 2.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.